Bradley, what was that like when you gave up your cell phone? How long did you give it up for, and what was that experience like?
Great question. I gave it up for 30 days in the beginning. I said I'm going to get rid of my cell phone for 30 days and just see what happens with the landline. Um, and and then I just never got it again for a long time. And I left to South America and didn't need one down there. So I really didn't get one for a few years. And that's something I'm always evaluating is my relationship with technology. And the phone is such a part of my life and how I operate now. And I'm just making sure that it's serving me and not the other way around, keeping it in check because it wants more and more of my time. It's like an addict for my time, and I have to just keep it in check. So I'm always evaluating that relationship and making sure I'm aware of it.
Okay, and you have the same thought towards social media. We were talking about this offline.
Yeah, yeah. I bounce back and forth sometimes. I'll create an account and feel like I need to share some things or want to connect with people, but I find that I do better in my life. I feel more at peace without it. And that is not a bash against the tool. I think it's a great tool. Just for me, uh, I'm very interested in local connection. And so when I'm not able to connect with people through Instagram or through social media, I find that it pushes me out there into the world to connect with those that are in my immediate experience. And I find I can connect with people face to face, just deeper. Um, I enjoy things like this. This is great, but I would not want my life to be connected solely with people through the virtual world. So,
Yes, totally. I totally agree, and it's one of those things as we've now been in this social media thing for, 20 years. We're starting to discover, oh my God, we're in the machine age, and people crave real connection in real life. So typically your local area is in Georgia.
yes, it's about 45 minutes south of Georgia, Atlanta. So, a town city called Noonan, that area, Peachtree City, Noonan. I have a really
Okay.
strong network here.
Okay. That's great. This is what we need to be doing. Um, why were you so protective of your own time, your own space, where you
Hmm.
felt like it was being encroached on by either the phone or social media?
Well, I think that's just kind of the rules of the game we play here. There is everything outside of me is vying for my attention. All of this sensory experience wants my attention, and no one is protecting my peace. The cavalry isn't coming. No one's going to tell me, maybe you should sit in silence or close your eyes for some time or, just pay attention to what's going on within. Everything is pulling outward. And so I have to be that protector of my peace. And that is, that goes for relationships, that goes for activities, that goes for everything. And that's meditation in a nutshell, is taking it from the cushion to the mundane. You talked about earlier, there's some people in the mundane and some people maybe a little more evolved, but I tend to think of it as, my life is pretty mundane, but I'm just bringing more and more awareness to the mundane. Like they say, even enlightened people, they're still chopping wood, carrying water. Nothing's really changed on the outside. It's just the quality of awareness that I have has grown, and I
Hmm.
bring that with my experience and with everything I do, or at least
Okay.
that's the desire.
The so to the average person listening to this, so you're saying that the value of their own attention um, being unmolested, undisturbed, like n not being arrested into some other scheme that's trying to get their attention. What's the value of that? You're saying of someone's just having their own attention.
Right, right. Well, what we attend to tends to become us, tends to become our patterns. So if we can harness our attention, because again, the world is trying to get our attention. That is essentially our number one commodity, I think, as a human, is our attention. And just to use a gross example, they say something like a reel or a TikTok, where our attention is slowly being fragmented into small little tidbits, and sometimes it's just useless things. And so, and that's just a gross example. The world is the same way. How we guard our sense doors, whether it's with what we eat, what we listen to, what we view, who touches us, even all of these things play a role, and that's where our attention goes. What we're watching, what we're eating, what we're listening to, that's our attention. So I'm just being more and more mindful of what I allow in, who gets in the doors, because I am influenced and affected by what I consume.
Okay.
So just being mindful, not, just by being aware of what I consume, and
Yeah.
not just what I consume, but how does it affect me? I'm also the experimenter. I don't want to be dogmatic in this. I don't want to say, oh, that's not good for me, without necessarily trying it. Now I'm probably not going to go shoot up heroin to know that it's probably not good for me. There's boundaries to that, but I like to be my own experiment and test things out first before deciding if it's good for me or not.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this is one of the big issues of our day, for sure. So